Hi guys, my name is Chanel, your Shoppers Beauty Pro, and welcome to the Beauty for the Glow Chaser Masterclass. This is to celebrate the joy of fresh new beginnings as part of Shoppers Drug Mart for the Love of Beauty event. Before we get started, I just want to let you guys know, don't hesitate to ask any questions throughout this video. Even though we'll have a Q&A at the end, would love to hear from you from the comments down below. Today, I'll be showing you how to achieve a healthy glow from within with these easy, simple tips and tricks right at the comfort of your home in just 40 minutes. Since I want to focus more on the face, how to prep it, prime it, I went ahead and did my brows and a simple eye look off camera with the same products that we're going to be using later on in the face. Talk about multi-purpose, right? I hope you're as excited as I am. What are you waiting for? Grab your favorite highlighters, get ready to blend, 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 and let's get started. A fresh face, glowy look always starts with a good skincare routine. I've already washed and toned my face, so now I'm going to be applying my La Roche-Posay Retinol B3 Serum. This serum is meant to be used at night, but since we're using it in the morning, you want to make sure that you apply SPF. Retinol is such an effective ingredient. It is meant to target fine lines, wrinkles, skin texture, and even sun damage. So I'm just going to go ahead and start patting that all over my face, and we want to do a tapping motion because we don't want to tug or pull or create any premature wrinkles. It's going to be very gentle. So while I'm waiting for my serum to dry, let's talk about sunscreen. On the days that I'll be wearing makeup, I like to use the La Roche-Posay Anthelios Ultra Fluid Face Sunscreen with an SPF 50. It's lightweight, it absorbs very quickly, and it's perfect for underneath makeup. But on the days that I feel like my skin is a little bit oilier, I then use the Vichy Ideal Soleil Anti-Shine Dry Touch Lotion. And as for recommended amount, I always say use half a teaspoon for all over your face, and you cannot forget about the neck and also your ears if you want. Now that my serum is fully absorbed in my skin, I'm going to go ahead and apply my Origins Ginseng Glow Boosting Gel Moisturizer. This moisturizer is one of my favorites. It's oil-free, it's lightweight, it keeps my skin hydrated, plus it adds like a really nice glow to the skin. So I'm just going to take about, I would say this much. Start off with that, and I'm just going to apply that all over my face. So I always like to warm up my skincare on my fingertips, and we're just going to start applying it. So I'm doing it in like a circular motion, just being very gentle with it. Again, we don't want to create any tugging or pulling. We cannot forget about the neck. And I'm just going to go ahead and start applying that. I mean, just look at the glow from this moisturizer. It smells amazing as well. It smells like very citrusy. It's beautiful. One of the things that I also like to do, and it's a little bit extra, but it's like super fun to incorporate within your everyday routine, is I always keep a handheld fan in my vanity, and I just kind of, fan myself and wait for my skincare products to dry. It's just faster, and plus, you feel kind of bougie. Okay, now that my skin is well moisturized, we're going to start priming our skin. I always get asked, how do I keep my makeup fresh throughout the day with no creasing? And that is because I take time into priming your skin. It's kind of like when you paint a wall. You want to make sure that you prime your skin so the products stick to it better. The primer that we'll be using today is the Smashbox Photo Finish Vitamin Glow Primer. This primer is packed with vitamins B, C, E, and antioxidant to help boost your natural glow. It's lightweight and it's a water gel formula to hydrate and revitalize and soften your skin so that products go on smoother. So again, I'm taking that with my fingertips and start focusing that on the center of my face, blending it upwards. So you want to make sure that you listen to your skin when you are choosing for a primer. If you are oily, opt for a mattifying primer. If you're dry, water-based primers or oil-based primers will do the trick for you. And if you have combination skin, you can definitely double prime. And that is using 2 different primers to address both of your skin type. So again, I'm just doing one more tap through. Do you guys have any Holy Grail primer or any tips and tricks that you would like to share? Let us know in the comments. We would love to hear from you. One of my favorite tricks when I apply like a pore filling primer is I always want to make sure that I do like a tapping motion and a pressing motion, especially since it's pore filling. If you just rub it in, it just sits on top of your skin and it's not really doing its thing. But if you press it and you tap it, the warmth on your fingers actually helps press the product in a little bit better. Okay, so now that we are all primed, we're going to start doing our foundation routine. For foundation, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation, and I am in the shade 120 Classic Ivory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit at the back of my hand. We're just going to start with like a tiny little dot. And what you want to do when you are applying your foundation is you want to take your mirror and you want to identify the areas where you feel like you need the most coverage. So for me, I'm going to start applying the foundation more on my T-zone, like more on the center of my face, because I have a lot of redness there, and that's the area that I want the most coverage. So I'm just going to start dotting them all over. And then I'm going to take my Dampen Quo Beauty Sponge and we're going to start tapping it away. Just going to grab my mirror right here and we're just going to start tapping it. So I always start with a thin layer first because you want to make sure that you're not using too much product and you're only using what your skin actually needs. The thinner the layers are, the faster it will sink into your skin and the lesser transfer you're going to get. And this is how you achieve that flawless base without looking cakey or heavy. I want to know in the comments down below if you are team sponge or team foundation brush. I'm definitely a team sponge, but you know, we're open for suggestions. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and take whatever's left at the back of my hand and I'm going to start tapping it away. I think I am pretty happy on how the coverage is looking. One more tap. You can never be too sure. Okay. So now that's all blended, we're going to go ahead and start concealing certain areas of our face. I'm going to show you a concealer hack that will completely change the way your face looks. It will look a little bit more lifted and it's going to look like you had 8 hours of sleep. So for my concealer today, I'll actually be using 2 shades. So the one that I'm using is from Clinique. It is the Even Better All Over Concealer Plus Eraser. It looks like this. So this is such a unique concealer. It has this doe foot applicator that really is meant to target hard to reach areas, which is going to be like the side of your nose, your inner corner, the bridge of your nose. And then one of the great features about this concealer is it actually has like a built-in sponge on the other end that is meant to blend and blur your concealer. So like I mentioned, I will be using 2 shades. The first shade that I'll be using is CN10 Alabaster, which is a little bit lighter than the usual concealer that I go for. And I'm actually going to focus this more on like underneath my eyes in certain areas that I want to highlight. So grab your pen and paper. This is going to be the concealer hack that I was telling you about. So what you want to do is you want to do like a small C on your inner corner like this. Since you have natural darkness here, you want to make sure that you target that specific area and blend it. And then I go ahead and do 3 dots going outwards because you want to get that lifted eye look. And I think I'm just going to leave one eye for now. And then I'm also going to highlight a little bit on top of my brow bone. And I think I'm going to do that for now. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my Quo Beauty Sponge. And we're just going to start tapping it away. I always tend to look up because you don't want to basically push the concealer in on any lines underneath your eyes. This concealer has a vitamin C to brighten the look of this coloration. And it also has hyaluronic acid that will help pump up the lines underneath. So I did one eye first, and you can see this side of my face already looks so much lifted. And the reason why I used a lighter concealer is because I wanted to get that natural highlighted look without really using too much product. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other eye. So again, we're doing a little C motion right here, and then 3 dots right there, and then a little bit on top of my brows. And again, start tapping it away. Look up. I want to know if you guys have any favorite part in your makeup routine. I think for me is concealer. I love concealer. I can go just like wearing concealer and like calling it a day. I don't know. I really love it. Tap, tap, tap. And then whatever's left, I think I'm going to put a little bit just on the bridge of my nose. And I'm pretty happy how my under eyes are looking right now. So then I'm going to go ahead and grab my second shade, which is WN04 Bone. The undertone of this one is a little bit closer to my skin tone. And what I'm going to do with this concealer is I'm going to, again, take my mirror, identify the areas that I want a little bit more coverage. So for me, that's going to be the side of my nose. Right here, I always get a lot of redness in there, a little bit on the tip of my nose. And I'm going to go over my chin and just do little dots like so. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and start tapping it away. Every time I do complexion on myself, or anyone for that matter, I always like to apply the concealer or the foundation, and then you step back a little bit because you don't want to put on too much. You want to be a little bit more precise with this because we want it to look flawless and not cakey. So the trick for that one is just to do thin layers at a time. I think I am pretty happy with that. My skin looks pretty evened out, and I think I'm pretty blended. What do you guys think? How are we doing so far? Okay, perfect. So now that's blended, I'm gonna go ahead and quickly set my face with my go-to setting spray right now. This is from Quo Beauty. This is the Set and Seal setting spray. I am obsessed with this setting spray. The spray on this one, like the applicator, is super fine. I don't know if you can see it, but it's super, super fine. So I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of like, not too close to my face because we don't want it like super wet. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray my face. It smells amazing as well. And I'm gonna go ahead and get my very bougie handheld fan again. Oop. And I'm just gonna go ahead and, just have a little moment like this. So at this point, you can go ahead and set your liquid base in place with a powder, but I want to keep the natural glow that we've already achieved from the foundation and the skin prep that we're doing. So I'm actually going to leave it at this, but I'm going to go ahead and grab again my sponge and go over it one more time to kind of press and blend everything in place. Now, if you are going to set your makeup with a powder, I highly suggest going for a banana colored powder, like a yellow colored powder for underneath the eyes to brighten. And for the rest of your face, Maybelline actually has a corresponding powder foundation that will match your liquid foundation, so you won't have a problem with matching them. Okay, perfect. So now that our skin is evened out, we want to bring life back by applying bronzer and blush. So for that, I will be using the Physicians Formula Butter Collection, and it just looks like this. This is one of my favorite go-to palettes. This palette has 6 items in it in just one convenient packaging. And it smells amazing. The formula is beautiful. It blends in so nice. It doesn't go patchy. It's one of the best formulations, really, I find, that I've ever used. So I'm going to go ahead and start bronzing my face. I'm going to take my Quo Beauty large powder brush, and I'm going to go in with Sunset Bronzer, which is this one right here, and I'm going to load it up on my brush. So I always tell my clients, if you don't know how to apply your bronzer and highlighter, just imagine that the sun is right on top of you. Where you see darkness, that's where you bronze or contour. Where you see lightness, that's where you highlight. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and tap off any excess product, and I'm going to start applying my bronzer on my cheekbones, and I'm going to bring it up on my temples. Just going to bronze my skin away. Whatever's left, I'm going to go ahead and dust some on my jawline. And again, we're doing thin layers. We're trying to slowly build up the coverage. Oh my gosh, you guys, this palette literally smells amazing. It smells like I'm on a vacation. So we're just gonna pretend. Again, just dusting that bronzer all over my face, taking it on my forehead. Grab my mirror right here. Do you see how it just adds life back into my skin instantly? Just this bronzer. And again, whatever's left, I'm going to take that on my neck and on my jawline. You never want to forget this area, especially if you're trying to match the rest of your body to your face, because a lot of times you are still tanned on the body and then you're not as tan anymore on your face. So you always want to make sure you blend. Okay, perfect. So now I'm going to contour my face a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this double-ended brush from Quo Beauty, and I'm going to mix a little bit of deep bronze and sunset bronzer. And this is a little bit more slanted, so it's going to be much easier for us to contour. So for that, I'm going to, again, grab my mirror and then identify where the hollows of my cheeks are. You can do like a fishy face. You don't have to, but it's kind of like funny and it's cute. So again, I'm going to mix those 2 shades again. And contour hollows of my cheeks. How are we looking? Good? Whatever's left on my brush, I'm going to go ahead and run it across my nose and contour my nose this way. The beauty of palettes like this is you can definitely mix and match because you just have it all here. So it's super, super convenient. So I'm just going to go ahead, contour my nose. And I also like to take a little bit on the tip of my nose. I find that sometimes when you contour your nose, you have these two beautiful lines on the side of your nose, and then you forget the end, and it just looks not blended, you know? So I'm just gonna go ahead and dust that. Now that we are looking like a bronzy, glowy goddess, I'm gonna go ahead and apply some blush, and I'm gonna use my favorite Quote Beauty brush of all time. This is the tapered blush brush, and I'm going to take Wildflower, which is this shade right here. So I'm just gonna load that up on my brush. So you can definitely change how your face looks with bronzer and blush. So as you can see, I wanted to look a little bit more contoured for me, so that's why I did that extra contouring. For blush, you can actually achieve a little bit more of a youthful look if you apply your blush on the apples of your cheeks. But I'm aiming for a lifted look, so I'm gonna actually apply my blush starting from like just right over here, and I'm going to start blending it upwards. And this brush, let me tell you, is again one of my favorite brushes of all time. I feel like it's so multi-purpose. I've used this to bronze my face, to contour my face, to set powder underneath my eyes, to set all over my face. But one of my favorite ways to use it is really just with blush. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do the same on my other cheek. Grab my mirror. Let's make sure everything is blended. I know a lot of people are scared with blush, and I don't think you should be. You know, there's many different options for blush. There's a lot of option for cream blushes. Cream blushes are one of my favorite things to incorporate in my routine as well. It just gives like this really nice flushed look. Super easy. You literally just go ahead and tap it all away, and then the color stays on longer. There's also a bunch of different undertones. It's all about experimenting and just finding the perfect one for you. So what I'm also going to do, this is one other trick that I love doing, and that is applying blush just over here, just like on the bridge of my nose. It gives it more of like, I just went on a vacation and I'm just beautifully tanned, and I don't know, it's just, this is like the ombre blush look. I just love how it looks. Well, I love blush in general, so. Okay, again, I'm gonna look into my mirror. Do you guys see how our skin still looks very natural and glowy? And we used a couple of products already, but like I said, we were layering one product at a time, and we're making sure that we're not applying too much. And that's how you achieve a flawless base without using too much products, is just do thin layers at a time. Okay, now we're gonna bring out the big guns and we're gonna add some glow into our skin. So I'm actually going to use two different highlighters. The first highlighter that I'm going to use today is the Benefit WhatsApp Cream Highlighter. This is a cream to powder highlighter. And the great thing about this one, again, is that it has a built-in sponge on one end. So you can use this sponge to blend your highlighter. But for me, what I like to do for any cream or stick products, I like to warm it up at the back of my hand first. And then I'm going to take my fingertips. You can use your sponge if you want to. I'm gonna grab my mirror again. We're gonna look straight into our mirror and we're going to identify the areas that we want to highlight. So for me, that is going to be the high points of my cheeks. I'm going to add a little bit just like above my arch and then a little bit on the bridge of my nose. So I'm going to go ahead and start tapping away. Cream highlighter is perfect for those that have more of like a drier skin, and it's also perfect for humid weather. It also gives like a really nice natural glow. It's like your skin, you just woke up like this and your skin is just naturally glowy, you know? So again, I'm going to take a little bit more at the back of my hand, and then again, use my fingertips and start tapping away. So I'm gonna apply some just on top of my arch where the sun naturally hits, and I'm gonna do the same on the other side. And I'm going to take the tiniest bit, or whatever's left at the back of my hand, and apply it on the bridge of my nose. I mean, let's just take a moment and appreciate the glow. We love the glow. We welcome the glow. Okay, so we love this natural glow that we've already achieved, but we want to take it up a notch. So I'm going to go ahead and grab again my Physicians Formula palette, and with an even more precise brush and a precise application, I'm going to go ahead and take the shade Whimsical, which is this one right here. I'm going to load it up on my brush, and I'm going to layer that with my Benefit WhatsApp cream highlighter. So I'm going to take my mirror again and just do a sweeping motion. I mean, just how beautiful is that glow? And then I'm going to take a little bit like my forehead, whatever's left on the other side. I also like to take just again on the bridge of my nose. And I also like to highlight on the top of my lip, just on my Cupid's bow. It's looking very nice. How are you guys doing with your highlighting and blending? I can honestly sit here and do this for forever and just keep blending everything. It's so therapeutic for me. Okay, now that everything is blended, remember the eyeshadow look that I promised a while ago at the very beginning? Well, I actually just used the same palette to do that look. I know, multi-purpose. So I actually just used this little Quo Beauty double-ended brush, and I used Sunset Bronzer and just used this fluffy end and blended that all over my crease. So I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to complete this eye look. I'm going to mix deep bronzer and Sunset Bronzer with a detailed brush just on the other end of the dual-ended brush. And I'm just going to mix those two together and run it on my lower lash line. I want to know if you guys have an everyday go-to makeup look. For me personally, this is my everyday go-to look. I just use my bronzer as my eyeshadow. It's quick, it's easy, you look so put together. Everything just looks like it's like one shade, and it's nice, you know what I mean? It's quick, it's easy. And I'm just running that on my lower lash line. I feel like everyone has their own take for their go-to everyday look, and we want to know. Let us know in the comments down below, or if you have any favorite eyeshadow palettes right now. There's tons of new releases. You know, there's a bunch of different palettes right now that's in the market, and I would love to know which one is your favorite. So I'm just gonna blending that. Do you also do that face when you like do your mascara on your lower lash line, or you do your lower lash and you kind of go like, I'm trying to be very classy today, and just like do that. Okay, now that we're looking, our eyes are speaking. I'm going to go ahead and use the shade Whimsical, which is this one, as the same shade that we use as our highlighter. And I'm actually going to take that and apply that on my inner corner to widen my eyes a little bit more, to make it look a little bit more awake, to bring light back into our eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that on my inner corner. You can also go ahead and apply this like underneath your brow bone. So just kind of like go like this and see how that's like lifted. Ooh. You're like glowy everywhere. Do the same with the other eye. I also want to know if you guys like to incorporate liners into your everyday makeup look, like a full wing liner or a baby wing liner like what I have on right now. I want to know what's your go-to makeup. And share any tips that you have. How are we liking our eye look? Right? It's perfect for every day. Okay, perfect. We are almost done with our look, but we cannot forget about the lips. So for my lips, glosses are so in right now. It is also perfect for every day. So with that, I'm going to be using the Quo Beauty Lip Boost Plumping Gloss in the shade Basic, and she looks like this. I really love the formulation of these glosses. It's not sticky at all whatsoever. It gives like a really nice shine, and it just adds like a really nice subtle color. Okay. See how it's so shiny, but it's so comfortable on the lips. Okay. Don't forget the little blot test whenever you apply your lip product so that your lipstick won't transfer into your teeth. You just take a Kleenex, just one, and then you go like this. And like the excess lip product is going to go on your Kleenex. I don't know if you can see. So it doesn't transfer into your teeth. We don't want that. Okay, so my look is not complete unless I put on my fragrance. So for that, I will be using the Giorgio Armani My Way Eau de Parfum. I guarantee you this will be your next signature scent. It's a classic floral with notes of orange blossom, tuberose, and vanilla. So what I like to do is I like to apply it on my pulse points. So that's going to be on my wrist. And do the same on the other side. And then I like to take a little bit the back of my ear. And I also go over like on my hair. It's subtle, yet it's effective. And one of the tips that I have for you is that when you are applying your fragrance, you want to make sure that you're not rubbing it together. If you rub your fragrance together, and this is a mistake that everyone does, if you rub your fragrance together, actually breaking down the notes, causing for your fragrance to wear off quickly. Okay, so we're done with our makeup look, and now we're gonna head on over to our Q&A. I have all your questions right here, so I'm gonna look down and read it. So our first question is from Charlotte. Can you tell us the difference or benefits of using a gel/cream-like primer versus a liquid one? Again, it's all about more of your skin type, right? So for me personally, I like to double prime if I know that I'm going to be wearing my makeup all throughout the day. So I like to focus more of like a hydrating primer, or like I find like the liquid ones are a little bit more hydrating, so I focus that on the outside perimeters of my face when I'm a little bit dry. And then the gel cream, I just do it on the T-zone because I'm a little bit oilier there. Next question is from Esme. How to avoid a sponge moving around foundation? So what I like to do is whenever I use a sponge, you don't want, so for you to not move your foundation, you want to make sure that you do a tapping motion. We don't rub it in, girl. Don't rub it in. So if you rub it in, not only are you tugging and pulling your skin, causing premature wrinkles, which we don't want. You want to be just gentle and just tap it and press it into your skin. It will sink in better. You're not moving anything. Next question is from Jen. Do you have to use both a setting powder and a setting spray, or can you use one or the other? So for today's look, I actually just use a setting spray. If you are a little bit oilier, then you can go ahead and set areas that tends to get a little bit more oily with a powder. Or if you want, you can use both. So what I always like to do is I do my powder, powder, set it all in. And then I go ahead and take my setting spray, set it again one more time. And it just kind of makes it look like the powder will sink into your skin better. It doesn't look as powdery. It's not sitting on top of your pores. It melts a little bit better. Next question is from Colleen. She asks, I heard that primers can clog your pores and can cause acne breakouts. Is this true? I need primers. Otherwise, it is crazy by the end of the day, but don't want to get more acne. I also need primers. I love my primers. So there are a lot of primers that doesn't have a lot of silicone or dimethicone, which tend to clog your pores. However, there's also a lot of brands that offer non-comedogenic primers, which means they're not going to clog your pores. One of my favorite tips to do is you can incorporate glycolic acid or salicylic acid into your skincare routine. That will gently exfoliate your skin and kind of like clean out your pores. Using cleansing devices is also really great. It's actually one of my favorite tools that I've ever used in my skincare routine because it really does the job. It's better to just use a cleansing device than just using your fingers to wash your face. And next question is Salmon says, for those of us with dry skin, how do we determine which powder, how much, and the best places to set the face while still maintaining the glow? Really, really good question. I used to actually be super, super dry, but now I'm combination. There are a lot of powders in the market that actually has hyaluronic acid in it, which is mind-boggling for me. I also love to recommend loose powders. Loose powders are a little bit more finely milled, so it's a little bit silkier and smoother into the skin than using like a pressed powder. And then when you are going to set your face, I'm just going to grab a brush so I can demonstrate for you. You always want to make sure that you do a tapping motion. So you take a little bit of your powder. I'm going to pretend we're going to take a little bit of your setting powder, tap off any excess, and start pressing it into your skin. You don't want to circle it around. And honestly, set it on the areas, maybe just areas that you feel like you're going to crease. So usually for underneath your eyes, sometimes like on your smile lines and all that stuff. So you can go ahead and tap, tap, tap. Again, don't rub it in a circular motion. If you do that, you're actually moving the foundation and concealer that you have underneath, causing it to look cakier than usual. Next question is from Sally Baker. Can you apply concealer on before you apply foundation? For this one, I think yes and no. There is a trend going on right now where people do their concealer and their contour stick before their foundation. You can definitely do that, but I think it's a little bit heavier on the skin, I'm not gonna lie. That's why I suggest using a foundation first, most of the time it's a little bit, foundations are a little bit more fuller coverage than your concealer. So let it do its thing. And then just like what I did earlier, I went ahead and examined my face and identified the areas where I felt like it needed a little bit more TLC. That's why I did my concealer after, because that's what concealers are for. It is meant to give you additional coverage and not really like pile it on. Next question is from Shannon. What is the best technique to draw my brows in so they don't look fake? Thank you so much for the brow question. I love brows. So one of my favorite tricks to use, or tips to tell people when they're doing their brows, is that first off, you want to start a line going from underneath and just doing the line like this, kind of like getting that lifted eye look, and then start drawing small hair-like strokes. You definitely don't want to go in and like do a harsh line and then do another harsh line. You want to just flick your wrist and kind of do like small hair-like strokes. It will look a little bit more natural, and kind of don't put too much product on like the front of your brows because you don't want that boxed brow look. Next question is from Sasha. Can you remind me the best way to get a natural glow? Should I use powder or stick? I would suggest going for a stick or like a cream highlighter. It will give you more of like a skin-like effect. A lot of times when I don't want to wear makeup and I just want to liven up my skin a little bit more, I just take a little bit of my cream highlighter and then I go ahead and just apply that on my bare skin, and it just looks like I have this like beautiful, glowy, fresh face look. This is gonna be our last question. It's from Bella. Where are the best places to place your highlighter if you're going for a natural look? If you're going for a natural look, I still like to put some on the high points of my cheeks, and then I actually take it up a little bit in here. I don't put too much product more on the forehead because I find that's like a giver if you want it to look natural and then your forehead is like super cakey. So I always just kind of like focus it over here. I always like to apply a little bit of highlighter on my inner corner. It just makes my eyes look a little bit more awake. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And thank you so much for sending in your questions. Don't forget, all the products that we use today will be listed down below, and make sure to check your email because we'll be sending you a special PC Optimum offer just for you. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed your fresh face glowy look. If you do post your beautiful look on Instagram, don't forget to tag us at Shoppers Beauty with the hashtag ShoppersBeautyLover, and make sure to check out the rest of the classes available for you in the link down below. Again, my name is Chanel, your Shoppers Beauty Pro. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe and see you soon. Bye!